could be looking at the end of cable news. The burial plot has been prepared in the woke cemetery. The bagpipes are starting to play. The crowd of unemployables and wanker spankers, they are dressed in all black. The 2000s pop music icon Michelle Branch is ready to perform. Goodbye to you, goodbye to everything, cable news. Headline from Reason.com. Cable news is over. Well, that is direct and to the point. That's kind of dramatic. I'm sure those working at CNN and MSNBC, they would classify that as hyperbolic. But the rest of us, we would refer to it as reality. We have been talking about this all week. We have been predicting this outcome for a while now. Matter of fact, the woke media is currently leading the poll as my personal nominee for the upcoming Huge Embarrassing Failure Awards. And if you haven't cast your vote for my personal nominee, you can vote in the community tab here on YouTube. If you would like to nominate someone personally, shoot me an email, btlkc84@gmail.com. You know, one thing I have noticed as I've gotten older, I have become more and more resistant to change. My wife and stepdaughter, they mess with me all the time because I'm so regimented, I'm so routined. When I wake up in the morning, same strict process every morning. I never lose anything because I always put everything in its rightful spot. My schedule for prepping these videos, extremely regimented. If something throws my schedule off, I am thrown off mentally. It takes a lot of thought and preparation to upload 18 videos every week. If I wasn't regimented, if I didn't have a routine, I would never be able to do it. Even the most minor unscheduled inconvenience, like losing an hour because I suddenly have to pick up the dogs from the vet, that can throw off my entire afternoon. For decades, television viewing habits, they have been just as regimented as my own personal schedule. Tudor from Roto-Rooter comes home from work after a long day of servicing the sewage. He takes off his boots, hopefully outside, and he turns on Fox News to watch Laura Ingraham, Jesse Waters, Sean Hannity. Donna Dump Diver comes home from work after a long day of airballing used beer cans while collecting the neighborhood's trash. She does not take off her boots outside. She props her dirty boots on the couch as she watches The Wicked Weave on MSNBC. Or Caitlin Collins on CNN. Katie Roo! Katie Roo! For decades, cable news networks have been able to rely on viewing habits to keep their networks afloat. They were able to rely on lack of competition. They could rely on the fact that Fox News served conservatives while MSNBC served the shitfucks. Well, Casey, what about CNN? Who did they appeal to? Well, CNN appealed to no one, which is why their Titanic sunk. But what the networks failed to anticipate was the potential of those viewing habits changing. The networks failed to anticipate the potential competition they could receive from people like me and other YouTubers. Their egos, their elitism, it would not allow them to believe that normal people would really get their news from other normal people. They were egotistical enough to believe that they would always be needed because normal people could not be trusted. The problem, though, for networks like CNN, MSNBC, they thought wrong. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Let's go and get to the sponsor for today's video, Soul Dog USA. Even though the cat ladies at Woke United Methodist like to claim that Garfield is man's best friend, we all know that distinction really belongs to dogs. You can do or say whatever the hell you want about me, Can't do shit to my girls chewing Oreo. My friends at Soul Dog USA feel the same way about their dogs. Soul Dog USA is an animal-loving, patriotic clothing brand. If you like the open road and enjoy your God-given American freedom, Soul Dog USA has the apparel for you. Got patriotic hats, hoodies, shirts, and huggers for the patriotic adult beverage of your choice. So click the link in the description below. Use my promo code BTL10. Save 10% off your first purchase with Soul Dog USA. For years now, MSNBC has been paying Rachel Maddow $30 million a year to work 1 day a week. My good friend Rach, she's been receiving the Zion Williamson treatment from MSNBC. You make a shitload of money and you don't have to do a damn thing. But there's a huge difference between Rachel Maddow and Zion Williamson. Well, KC, what do you mean huge difference? They both love the ladies. Yeah, I didn't say they didn't have anything in common. Clearly, they share some commonalities. Neither one of them likes to show up to work. But at least when Rachel Maddow decided to travel across the rainbow to NBC Studios in Midtown Manhattan, which is a legendary studio, by the way, if you have never been to Rockefeller Center, I highly recommend it. When Rachel Maddow shows up to work, she provides value. In the rare chance that Zion Williamson shows up to work, tickets in the Smoothie King Center, they are selling for $2. For years, MSNBC could justify paying Rachel Maddow damn near $30 million an episode because she hosted the most watched program on the network. And Rachel Maddow, she was the most watched host in cable news. Even after she was busted pushing the illusion of Russian collusion, Rachel Maddow still had a loyal following of naive wanker spankers. The months leading up to the election, Rachel Maddow was averaging around 2.5 million viewers. There was not another show on MSNBC that was even remotely close. So, when I saw this headline from the Daily Beast, I was initially confused. Rachel Maddow takes pay cut with MSNBC's future in jeopardy. You know, I have been covering the mainstream media for years now. I have never seen the face of a network agree to take a pay cut. Rachel Maddow, she agreed to lower her woke welfare by $5 million a year. Question is, why? Well, KC, her ratings have tanked. She's lost 1 million viewers in prime time. The Titanic is sinking. While that might be part of it, I don't think a short-term ratings decline is the reason that Rachel Maddow agreed to take a $5 million decrease in her salary. I'm thinking MSNBC is potentially in financial trouble. I'm thinking Comcast could be looking to sell this polished turd. There are rumors that Elon Musk is looking into buying MSNBC. If that happened, Rachel Maddow is immediately unemployed. Joy Reid, she will no longer be able to afford the gas for her climate-friendly broom. But even if Elon Musk bought MSNBC, I'm not sure it would be successful. I'm not sure it would ever reach the same pinnacle that it was at. Would it make money? Sure. Seems like everything Elon Musk touches makes billions of dollars. Would it be a ratings juggernaut? I think what would end up happening if Elon Musk bought MSNBC, they would split the television audience with Fox News. They would split the audience. I think one of the reasons that cable news is struggling, people are consuming their news differently. If you watch hosts on Fox News, they are constantly reminding people to set their DVR. Now, why in the hell would they do that? The only way they make money is through commercials. If people are watching through a DVR, they are skipping all the commercials. So why would Fox be encouraging their viewers to record their primetime shows? Maybe Fox News knows people are consuming media differently. One of the reasons cable news is struggling, both financially and in the ratings, the audience for cable news is smaller. But the main reason they are struggling is because they took advantage of their audience. The main reason the media is struggling, Americans finally figured out They are being lied to. Let me show you something. Thursday night, veteran NBC anchor Brian Williams, he was the guest on Late Night with Sean Squires. Well, KC, who in the hell is Sean Squires? You don't know Sean? He is the CEO of Oscar Squires. They produce Top Shelf Wiener. He also hosts a late night dump that comes on after Jim Fallon. Most people have never heard of Sean because no one is staying up past midnight to watch this garbage. But Thursday night, Brian Williams, he was the guest. Now, the reason he appeared on Thursday night instead of Friday night, NBC, they no longer produce late night shows 5 nights a week. I believe their excuse was budget cuts. But the real reason is no one was watching the other 4 nights, so there's really no point in producing a show on Friday night. But during the interview, Brian Williams delivered a passionate lecture. According to Sean Squires, this lecture was aimed towards the Democratic Party, but I think the intended receiver of this message was the mainstream media. Watch for yourself.
I think it needs to be stripped down and rebuilt. I think that means a change in leadership. I want to know who thought it was a good idea that Joe Biden stand for another 4 years at 80 years of age and 37% popularity. I think it's insulting when members of the working class, which the Democratic Party has lost entirely in our lifetimes, to insist the economy is doing great. A 12-pack of Bounty is $40. Rich folks don't feel that. Telling them that the NASDAQ is gangbusters is further insulting. It's insulting. I think the biggest unforced error of the Biden administration by far was the border. To tell people it's not a problem is insulting. For the working class to see incoming migrants getting welcome bags, debit cards, and motel rooms is probably insulting as well.
What does that tell you? You know what it tells me? It tells me that the media is not out of touch. It tells me that the media is not blind to what's going on. It also proves the media has been lying to us. And that is the number one reason that cable news is dying. For decades, cable news had the golden goose. There was minimal competition. Fox and MSNBC, they had a monopoly on their respective demographics. But oftentimes when you have the golden goose for an extended period, you start taking advantage of it. You get comfortable, you get complacent. You take your viewers for granted. You're under this delusion that they'll always be around no matter how much you disrespect them. You end up turning the golden goose into the rancid turd. And once the turd becomes rancid, no one wants to be around it. Most business owners will tell you once you lose a customer, it is damn near impossible to get them back. Think about it. If you went to McDonald's and Cackling Cam Harris spit on your Big Mac, are you ever going back to McDonald's? That is exactly what the mainstream media has been doing for the last 4 years. Hell, for the past decade. The media has been spitting in your face. And now that you've turned against them, now that you have taken your business elsewhere, they are begging you to come back. I love you. Let's be friends again. And at the same time, they are trying to diminish and regulate the people that you're currently watching. They are claiming that YouTubers are spreading misinformation. They are claiming that it's in your best interest to regulate our content, when the reality is it's in their best interest because the media knows they can't compete. It's over. It's over. The days of cable news being the dominant source in the media, those days are over. There is no coming back from this. Does that mean networks like MSNBC and CNN will cease to exist? You know, it's difficult to say. I'm sure they will be around in some form, but their days of being the most influential, having the most influence, those days are over. But give me your thoughts on this. Is cable news dying? In the next 5 years, could CNN, MSNBC cease to exist? Why do you think Rachel Maddow agreed to take a $5 million a year pay cut? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.